Hey everyone, back again with another video, and I've got a more Yu-Gi-Oh news related video today. Some of the details in this is pretty interesting and some are even really concerning, to be honest. So what I mean is I'll mainly be talking about Konami's potential last video game, and I'll be going into some other news about the future set releases. But without any further ado, let's get into it. So if you're familiar with Konami at all, you know that they're primarily known for being a video game developer, which has produced titles like Metal Gear, along with the Yu-Gi-Oh video games we all know and love. But if you didn't know, Konami announced in January of this year that it would be dissolving and restructuring its gaming divisions at the beginning of February, according to an article by Forbes and CBR.com. While it's been made clear that this doesn't mean that Konami is going to stop developing games, it does mean that Konami will have more narrow and limited means of producing games, since their divisions will physically be smaller. And to be clear, Konami Digital Entertainment is dissolving and restructuring their gaming division. However, Konami Holdings Corporation will not be involved in the restructuring process in any foreseeable way. This restructuring does, however, draw into question what will happen to titles such as Metal Gear and namely Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, which has been wildly successful. This restructuring may likely shorten Konami's capacity to create mainstream video games like Silent Hill, and it will likely impact smaller profile games like Duel Links, since they don't really receive as much mainstream attention. This also draws into question the future of a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Konami IP that they announced at Jump Fiesta 2020, and it's known as Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And although we're given very little details about the nature of this project, many have debated whether Master Duel will be a full-fledged Yu-Gi-Oh! Game or whether it'll be more like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Simulator, like we've all wanted for the longest time. Regardless of whether it turns out to be a full video game or a simulator, the development process does fall upon Konami's game division to produce this game. But as we all just said, their game division is being dissolved and it will likely be throttled from a production standpoint. However, it's not all doom and gloom, since it appears that there are rumors circulating that Microsoft may be interested in buying Konami. Notebookcheck.net reports that a popular tech commentator has explained that Microsoft's Xbox Game Studios are looking to acquire Konami, along with Sega. This rumor makes sense since Konami has been acquiring a plethora of game studios as of late, and presumably because they're going to bring exclusives to their Xbox platform, such as Bethesda Studios' Fallout, which is one of the more recent acquisitions. However, keep in mind, these are only rumors and there is no official confirmation of this acquisition, and there's nothing to confirm if it's going to happen. But if this rumor does turn out to be true, this could shine some hope for the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! Games in general, especially in the regard to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Personally, I hope this rumor turns out to be true, since Xbox has a lot of video game development capability and resources that could make for a phenomenal Yu-Gi-Oh! Game experience. And I do think this could help struggling studios like Konami produce games in general, especially since they haven't been doing much of late with their popular IPs. So this next topic is huge. Konami just revealed that they will be releasing this year's successor to the 2020 Tin of Lost Memories. So if you were a fan of the Mega Tins from years prior, this news is probably news to your ears. And now that these tins have been announced, we all know that there are going to be some serious and some much needed reprints in this highly sought after set. And if the tins from previous years are any indication, this year's tin is probably going to have amazing reprints. And it looks like they're going to stick to a similar Tablet of Lost Memories theme for this year's tin. And what's interesting is you can stack these tins with the lid facing up, so you can kind of build a sort of Tablet of Lost Memories of your own, according to the description. But all in all, this is very exciting news, since the Mega Tins are a huge deal, and it's still great to see it announced, even though there are still a few details pending release. In other news, there's new support to the 3 iconic knight cards that Yugi used in the anime. So who knew out of all the support we'd get support to Jack's Knight, King's Knight, and Queen's Knight. So we're getting support in the latest Yu-Gi-Oh side set called King's Court, where it will introduce to us the new Joker cards, which will support the rest of the 3 Knight cards. And we're treated to a new world premiere card named Joker's Knight, which is the new knight to the former trio. And while we don't have a visual on this card, it's a 2000 attack point monster that is described to be most like Magician's Soul, so it might set up your graveyard for plays. And one of the neat things it can do is it can take on the identity of any of the other knight cards. But the part that makes Joker's Knight potentially competitive is that you can return Joker's Knight to your hand at the end phase by shuffling another light warrior monster from your graveyard to your deck, which not only gives you an extra monster to summon, but it also increases your overall card advantage while recycling some of your light warrior monsters from your graveyard. But before we get on to the second world premiere card, just as a side note, this set will feature cards from other sets such as Legendary Duelist Season 2, Lightning Overdrive, and more. But what's interesting about the product description is that it mentions the world premiere cards will be featured as collector's rares. So the second world premiere card is called Arcana Triumph Joker, which basically becomes more powerful based on the number of cards in your hand. And it also allows you to discard cards to destroy all face-up cards your opponent controls with the same type. So that's interesting since it's almost like a Breaker the Magical Warrior effect. But it's interesting to see where they specifically take this effect, since it says you can destroy cards with the same type, which may imply you can destroy more than just monsters. And this new Joker Knight support really does have some perfect timing, since the Egyptian God card structure decks are also releasing in the near future, which may allow you to make potential combos with Slifer the Sky Dragon, or even just to have an extra monster for a tribute summon for an Egyptian God card. And it also goes great with the previous Egyptian God card support released a while back in the Rage of Ra. And it's interesting to see how the previous support will mix with the future Egyptian God card support, like Thunder Force Attack, Fist of Fate, and Soul Crossing. So it looks like my dream is finally coming true, and we may actually see a viable Egyptian God card deck, especially since it may also be combined with Monarchs in the future. But on another note, March 19th marked number 39 Utopia's birthday, which also brings up the fact that XYZs have been around for 10 years. That's insane, but yeah, happy birthday to XYZs, it's crazy they've been around this long. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the Yu-Gi-Oh current events that I had in mind for you all. I didn't want to make this a full-blown Yu-Gi-Oh news segment, since these were kind of a few unrelated issues, or I guess Yu-Gi-Oh news events, but basically I just wanted to tell them to you in this kind of concise video, as opposed to the more long-form videos I have. But with that pretty much wraps it up for this video. If you would like to support more content like this in the future, you can do so at my Necromancer1040 Patreon link down below. I normally post it in the description, and you can check it there along with the other cool things I normally post down below. And with that, thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for your support, and I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, take care.